Woo! Welcome everybody. Move my light out of the way. Live chat. There we go. Hey, YouTubers. How are we all doing this evening? I'm gonna guess it's you're gonna have to watch an ad first. Sorry. But let me see. Oh, somebody else got flagged on TikTok, huh, John? Did they come back at least? Again, it's all the trolls, but TikTok is sort of built so poorly that you're able to game the system. It's ridiculous, you know. Anyway, hey guys. All right, let me try to move this. Here we go, so I can see your comments more easily. There we go. All right, let me get speaking of the devil, literally TikTok rolling here. There we go. Okay, that's pretty good now. All right, all right. TikTok mirror. I'm gonna see if I can move this down a little. All right, trying to bend TikTok down so you can see me better without like literally throwing it overboard. All right. All right, my collar. All right, I'm gonna stop worrying about my collar. Trying to get the collar like even, and it's like it's also mirror image, so like you do things opposite. Anyway, all right, there we go. Welcome, TikTokers. Is it going to focus on me? Maybe. There we go. All right. Hello from Pyongyang. Exactly, Gunther. Yeah. How's the weather up there? Hey, cool. Thank you for the gift. And Richard. Alan. How's everybody doing today? Welcome. Jonas, Crazy American. Lots of gifts coming in. Thank you, guys. Oh, they're doing that quest thing on TikTok again. Maybe they banned me because I made fun of their quest yesterday. We've ended our first part of the quest on TikTok. Thank you, veteran Mary. There's somebody before. Oh, it's letting me see. User 336. Usually I can't scroll back to see the gifts on TikTok. It's evil. It's letting me do it today. That's good. Oh, your dad turned 70 today. Excellent. Hey, Julian. Thank you. Pedro, Randall, Jorge. Anyway, how are we doing all today, guys? How are we doing all? How are we all doing? Carol. Do I think the video exists? What are they saying the video is of? They're talking about some video of Trump. Thank you. Who's it? Julian. Thank you, Sergeant, for the green eyes. And Carol as well. Excellent. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Randall, for the pumpkin. They're talking about some video of Trump. And all of the Trump supporters are like, don't you believe it? When you see a video of Trump, don't you believe it? And it's got all the rest of us going, first of all, Trump doing something outrageous on video is like, you know, there is literally nothing Trump could do on video that I'd go, oh, that's got to be a fake. I mean, quite literally, there's nothing other than, you know, hugging his children with tears in his eyes of joy. That's going to be a fake, right? Playing with his grandchildren, that's going to be a fake. Kissing his wife lovingly, fake, you know, but otherwise, like anything evil that Trump would do. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Batman. There's literally, and Rondell and Catherine, there's literally nothing that Trump could do in a video that would be bad that I wouldn't believe, that I would say, oh, that's got to be a fake. Trump would never do that, right? Again, other than like kiss his kids or something. Thank you, Disco. Well, he'd kiss Ivanka, but you know, we know about that. Thank you, Randol. But yeah, there's some rumor going around that, thank you, NJ. There's some rumor going around that there's a video of Trump that's about to be released. Now, I'm not convinced that any of this is really true. You know, let's see. Hey, Otan. You know, let's see. But a girl can dream. So, and the only thing with Trump is, look, I think what people need to realize is most of his supporters write them off. Some of his supporters are leaving him. But most of his supporters write them off. It doesn't matter if we're at stage 2 of the team quest on TikTok. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Bjorn, Mary. I guess it's whenever you purchase those Heart Me gifts, it somehow adds up to a new level or something. Thank you, Marge. Thank you. Who was that? Chezak and Brandon. Any case, it is very sad. Elon. Well, Elon got a nasty letter from the Justice Department. Not clear yet whether he's in trouble. We hope he's in trouble. I'm not convinced he's in trouble yet. Lamb Chop, Jamie, Martin, Veteran Sergeant. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the gifts coming in today. Thank you, Cassandra. As you know, I do this for a living, so your gifts quite literally pay the bills, so thank you. Any case, so hello. Let's maybe get rolling. Oh, it's Thursday already. My God. Jesus Christ, Thursday. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thank you, Martin. Remember, Saturday morning, we've got our special coffee talk we do for the paid subscribers, the paid monthly subscribers. Thank you, Gabber, for the gifts. So that's anybody who has SNN next to their name on TikTok. Thank you, Vicky. Or any of you that have a green name on YouTube. You're paid subscribers either because you subscribed or because someone gave you a gift subscription for a month. So if you can't remember doing it, probably a good chance that someone bought you a gift membership. A coffee, exactly, our coffee talk. But yeah, so we basically, to thank the monthly subscribers, it's not a lot, $5.99, $6.99 something. It's not a ton of money. What I mean is, it's affordable. I very much appreciate it. In the aggregate, it helps me a lot, but it's affordable. But I do a weekend show, and actually, now that I'm going to be back in DC next Saturday in a week. Thank you, Elizabeth. In 9 days. Thank you, running. Elizabeth, multiple gifts. Vicky. I will also do a few, shows just for subscribers. Maybe even election day morning, election day aftermath morning. I will do nightly shows. I haven't had a chance to try to reach out to Parker or Henry yet. Harry. Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Elizabeth. Laddie. All right, let's get rolling, guys. So we are back. We shall roll. Not nearly enough people following us on TikTok right now. I guess we've got to piss off the Trumpers to get more of them coming in. I can always tell when there's a surge of people that all the crazy Trump people arrived. The cult does move in a swarm. Just like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the science fiction movie with the guys that would move in a swarm. What am I thinking of? Actually, that was an Independence Day. There were some other movies too that they kind of move in a swarm. I'm forgetting now. Parker was destroy people last night. He's very good. I mean, he really is though. And I like that he's also kind of slow. You know what I mean? He's kind of, he's very kind of mellow and slow about it and kind of boom, boom, boom. It's very, the Borg. Actually, the Borg, that's true. That's true. All right, guys. Hey, Succeed. All right, let's get rolling. So thank you guys for joining us. We're going to talk about the election. We're going to talk about Ukraine, our usual. Let's start with the election. It's 12 days to the election. You will be surprised to hear that the new polls show it's kind of a tie. In the key states, it's pretty much a tie. Here's a couple different news sources I got this from. In Arizona, Trump earns 50% to Harris's 49%. In North Carolina, Trump has 50%, Harris at 48%. Two are tied at 49 in Georgia. All of those polls are within the margin of error. So basically, polls the people who run the polls know that there's going to be a margin for error, that they're not going to be exactly right. Thank you, Mustard. So the margin of error is usually like 2 or 3, usually more like 3 percentage points. So if it's 42 to 43, that's within 1 point. The margin is 3. So within 1 point means, oh, that's really cool, Jade. Oh my God. Oh, that was crazy. They've got a Day of the Dead gift on TikTok. That was fun. Someone has to grab that picture. Oh, wow. Thank you so much for that. That was really generous, but also really cool. I wish they would leave those things up longer. It caught my eye. And I was like, whoa, that was quite fun. So yeah, Kamala Harris and Trump are basically tied. He's ahead in some states. She's ahead in others. Still a tie because it's within the margin. Michigan, Kamala Harris holds a slight lead. According to a newly released Michigan State University, Harris held the lead over Trump of 52 to 48. Now, that's not terrible. Thank you, Diana. 4-point lead is probably just outside the margin of error, but that still means she has a slight lead. But again, better than a slightly behind. Pennsylvania is effectively a tie. 50% Trump, 49% Harris. Again, it's within that margin of error, so it's statistically a tie. Thank you, Jim. And I say the same thing when Harris is ahead. If she's ahead by 2 points or less, in most polls, it's basically a tie. You can't count that as being ahead. Kind of crazy, though. Thank you, Jim. What else we got? Pennsylvania, effectively a tie. I think I just said, or maybe I didn't say, but 50 to 49. Down ballot races. This is interesting. Hey, Justin. This is interesting because there was one of you guys was asking the other day, and I don't really have an answer for it, of why in certain races, like in Arizona, the Democrats running for Senate are doing very well. Whereas Kamala Harris is kind of tied with Trump or a little behind, possibly, like not doing as well, right? Listen to this. In Arizona, Democratic Representative Ruben Gallego, who I know, is ahead of Kari Lake, the Republican, 53 to 45. That's a great lead. That's fabulous. North Carolina governor's race, Democratic Attorney General Josh Stein is ahead of scandal-plagued Republican Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, 55 to 41. So this is kind of funny. Thank you, Judy, for the vote. Give me the vote. That is a good gift. I haven't been paying attention. They need more get out the vote gifts, Thank you, Snowblade. I forgot about that. The North Carolina governor's race has that guy running. Remember the guy who they found out was basically frequenting, thank you, KT, a bunch of like black sex forums And what was it? What was it? I forget the name of it, but like, I don't even remember all the stuff the guy wrote, but he was, he was talking about liking transgender porn videos, which again, nothing wrong with that. But if you're a conservative Republican who attacks trans people, then there's something wrong with that, right? We do not abide hypocrisy. Thank you, KT. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Nar, for the blooming ribbons. Any case, he's not doing well, which is very funny. Thank you, Claude. That makes me happy. Kamala Harris has kind of a new argument she's trying out, which I think is a very good one. She is basically saying that Donald Trump has an enemies list and she has a to-do list. She said this last night during the CNN town hall. Hey, Animal Mother, how are you? Hey, Helian. Either you have the choice of a Donald Trump who will sit in the Oval Office stewing, plotting revenge, retribution, writing out his enemies list, or what I will be doing, which is responding to folks like the folks last night with a to-do list. Not a bad, kind of point, because it's almost a nice kind of attack on Trump. Like, it's not particularly mean, but it also is reminding you of something that everybody knows, which is he's all about vengeance. He's not really focused on the future of the country or anything about helping people. He just wants to hurt people, and he wants to help himself, right? It's all my election. I lost. I was cheated in my election. No, you need to talk about what you're going to do for the country. Stop lying to us and telling us about the last election you lost. A Kamala wig. I wish I had a Kamala wig, Sam. That would be, actually for Halloween especially, that would have been fabulous. I guess there's still time. You know what? I'm writing that down. Actually, mods, remind me later. Remind me after the show. Maybe Ashley, text me. You can text me now to Google a Kamala wig. That's a great idea. Oh, that's a great idea, Sam. Thank you. I like that for Halloween. I've got to find my Trump wig upstairs for Halloween, and then I can bring the Kamala wig too. Anyway, this was good news. Listen to this. A Republican who is the longest serving member of the Wisconsin Senate announced he will vote for Kamala Harris in the presidential election. Robert Cowles, who is retiring after 42 years in the state legislature, said in a Madison radio interview that he was concerned about protecting democracy and called Donald Trump a fascist, echoing recent comments by Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly. Also, I might add, Donald Trump's former secretary of defense also chimed in and said, yes, he does sound like a fascist. Very interesting. We got a few more people here. We got to get that number of followers up to 500 or 50, because that's when we know the trolls are here. And we remember our mission here is to educate everybody, but also piss off the trolls as much as possible. It's the small things in life that give you joy, guys. What can I say? Thank you, Stig. Thank you, Max Drex. Trump. Oh, this was good too. I'm forgetting which news station this was that had a wonderful story on their website. And here's the website stories. Listen to this. Trump, this is the headline. Trump, who avoided combat, accepts gift of Purple Heart from veteran. The gift came as Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, confirmed reports that the former president had disparaged members of the military who died in combat. Also, it comes on the news that Donald Trump has praised Adolf Hitler as doing a lot of good things and said he wants generals like Hitler's generals who are loyal. Yeah. And Trump, by the way, you may recall, had bone spurs on his feet, so wasn't able to go to Vietnam, although Trump himself had said that, thank you, Martin, thank you, Katie, that anybody who goes to Vietnam, he also included them in the suckers and losers, basically saying that you'd have to be a sucker or loser to A, serve in the U.S. military, Trump said, because basically he felt, in Trump's mind, what kind of an idiot would go risk their life for their country. Again, somebody who loves their country. Hey, what a surprise. Because Trump, the idea of fighting for something you love, right? No way. No, Trump sends other people to do that. So Trump basically said our soldiers are suckers and losers for even volunteering for the military. They're suckers and losers for getting killed and injured in the military, he said. Thank you, NAR. So, so Trump accepting a Purple Heart is, of course, classic Trump, because Donald Trump will do everything that basically is the opposite of who he is. Right. So Trump sits the other day with all the faith leaders holding their hands on him and praying, when you know Donald Trump is literally sitting there laughing at these people. Right. The least faithful man on the planet is laughing at these people who are especially putting hands on him. Right. I mean, Trump, please. Right. Anyway. So what else we got here? CNN. CNN did a story today on, is Trump a fascist? Which I thought was good. Kind of, what does that mean? People are accusing him of being a fascist. Asked at a CNN town hall in the battleground state of Pennsylvania if she agrees with General Kelly, who is Trump's chief of staff, that Trump is a fascist. Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris did not hesitate. Yes, I do. Yes, I do, she said. Kelly pointed to the New York Times to a definition of fascism. So General Kelly, who was Marine Corps General Trump's chief of staff at the White House, who said Trump is a fascist, he pointed to a New York Times definition of fascism. It's a far-right authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy. So certainly in my experience, those are the kind of things that he thinks would work better in terms of running America, Kelly said. Kelly added that Trump is in the far-right area and admires people who are dictators, which in Kelly's view places Trump in the general definition of fascists. And Kelly is correct. Let's move over to Ukraine. Again, not a ton of election news today, really. We're 13 days away. Exactly. It's stolen valor. It's absolutely stolen valor. For Donald Trump, after all the horrible things he said about our service members. By the way, people don't remember this. Donald Trump's first attack on our service members was not like once he was in office. You know, everyone likes to think that's the case. That wasn't the case. I remember watching Donald Trump interviewed by Jake Tapper, I think it was on CNN. And it was either right before the election or literally right after, but it was right before he was interviewed, 2016. And Trump is being asked by Tapper about Ukraine, and Trump says, oh, let the Russians have it. It's theirs anyway. They all speak Russian, like this kind of crap, right? He was totally cool with Russia invading Ukraine. And Trump gets asked about Putin. And again, it was either Wolf Blitzer or Jake Tapper. And they're saying, but, you know, he kept praising Putin and he wouldn't criticize him. And they're saying to Trump, but Putin's a killer. I think it must have been Tapper, but Putin's a killer. And Trump goes, you don't think we're killers? You don't think we're killers? You don't think our troops go and kill people too? And basically called our troops killers, called Americans killers, called American presidents killers, called American soldiers killers. Okay, thank you, adventures. I see the numbers going up. Good, the Trump trolls are coming. Good for you guys to get a little schooling. But he called American troops killers as well. He suggested that American troops go around the world and kill people just willy-nilly in a genocidal way, the same way the Russians do. This was, again, either I'm talking the first month of Trump's presidency, or it was in the months right before the election. And people forget this, that he has had contempt for our military going back to the beginning. Obviously, going back to when he was a draft dodger in the Vietnam War. He's always had contempt for the military. So it's not just recently. It's not just, a couple of years ago, he called our soldiers suckers and losers for getting killed in action. Right? He did this. And again, as we said the other day, disparaged that poor Mexican-American soldier who was murdered and basically got upset. He offered the family to pay for the funeral. And then when he found out how much it was, he said $60,000 for a funeral of a effing, he said the word Mexican. He said, yeah. So yeah, lovely man. All right, let's move on to Ukraine. Day 972 of Vladimir Putin's 3-day special military operation. Trump said this week that when he was, listen, this is kind of great. Oh, thank you, Annie. I do love that gift. It's the coolest gift. Very cool. They need to do more of those kind of, actually, for Halloween, it's kind of an obvious. They should have done like 10 different masks for Halloween, right? That you could put on creators' faces. I think that would have been hilarious. Thank you, Ellie. And actually, they should have done a Trump. I just think that's wild. Wow. It's such, you guys will have to see. It's this wild mask of like Day of the Dead with makeup and it's really a TikTok gift. Wow. But they should have done a Trump. They should have done a Kamala Harris. I think would have been funny to like put on, and you basically make both available, right? Oh, good. Yes. Somebody gifted a subscription to Crazy American Overseas. Lovely. It is almost Mardi Gras. It's almost like drag. It's Mardi Gras drag Day of the Dead. It's Day of the Dead. Thank you, Eileen. But it's a little bit of Mardi Gras drag as well. Yeah, I agree. Because it's kind of a little girly and it's pretty cool, actually. All right. So Trump, this was interesting. So Vladimir Putin was asked this week about Trump repeatedly talking about bombing Moscow. And I'm going to stop fidgeting with my shirt here. It's driving me crazy. Thank you, Shorty. The Sugar Skull. Listen to this. So Putin gets asked about Trump repeatedly talking about how he would have hit Moscow when he was president, this kind of bullshit. And Putin goes, well, I didn't hear that. So listen to this. Trump said this week that when he was US president, he had threatened to hit Putin in Moscow if the Russian leader invaded Ukraine. I said, Vladimir, if you go after, this is obviously a total lie, by the way. So Trump's claiming when he was president, he told Putin, Vladimir, if you go after Ukraine, I'm going to hit you so hard, you're not even going to believe it. I'm going to hit you right in the middle of freaking Moscow. Trump told the Wall Street Journal, without specifying when he allegedly said this to Putin, I said, we're friends. I don't want to do it, but I have no choice, Trump added. According to Trump, Putin replied, no way. And Trump replied, I swear to you. Thank you, Martin. I swear, listen to this. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump claims Putin said, no way. And Trump replied, way. Trump gave the Madonna answer to Putin on the phone about Ukraine. There is a 0% chance that this conversation happened anywhere other than Donald Trump's head. Thank you, Dr. Stephanie. It's Wayne's World. Madonna was you're right, it was Wayne's World. Madonna was the one who always would use it. But you're right, it was Wayne's World. That was it. It was Wayne's World. I knew it came from something, but I knew it because also she would use it all the time. Madonna was going, no, wait, way. Back in like 1990 or so. Remember what was her, oh my God, the big tour she did then. Remember the Blonde Ambition tour? That was the time of when they did the movie and everything else of hers. Yeah, he's lying. He's lying. There's a 0% chance Trump said this to Putin, but also I told him way. He's such a freak. Politico. So Germany. So this is interesting. So the Ukrainians, as part of their plan for winning in Ukraine, the war. Thank you, Jocelyn, for the baby penguin. Ukraine's proposed, understandably, and I think correctly, that part of the way to solve the war is having Ukraine join NATO. And that once Ukraine joins NATO, basically resolve the war, Ukraine joins NATO, and then Russia will never attack again, which is true. A number of NATO countries, including the Germany and the US, are freaking out. Big surprise. Hungary and Slovakia, of course, the biggest freak out, but of course, that's because they're Soviet puppets. And I use the word Soviet on purpose. They're Russian puppets, totally, but they're like Soviet satellite puppets, both Hungary and Slovakia, total traitors to their own people. But even Germany, America, let me get you a few more countries that balked at Ukraine joining NATO anytime soon. Who else we got here? Spain, Belgium, Slovenia. Yeah, so what a surprise. The first North Korean soldiers to participate alongside Russian forces in the war against Ukraine have been deployed to the front line in Kursk Oblast. According to Ukraine's military intelligence, thank you, Eva, for the gifts. That is the region in Ukraine, or the region actually across the border in Russia, that Ukraine invaded and then has held on to. So it looks like the Russians. Now, actually, this is very interesting. This is actually very interesting. Thank you, Jocelyn. You may have recalled, I've mentioned to you about Putin that the way Putin likes to escalate things, meaning to sort of test us with things that might go too far, is to do it in a way that's gray, that's not black or white, that's just confusing enough that we can't quite respond. So Putin, at this point, takes the North Korean troops. He didn't invade Ukraine with them. So in other words, he didn't invade Europe with the North Korean troops. He's got the North Korean troops so far fighting inside Russia to take back Russian land, right? And again, if you're talking about like escalation, it's different using the North Korean troops to invade a European country, which Ukraine is, than using the North Korean troops in your own country to get your own country back. It's subtle, but I think this is, let's see, if those troops enter Ukraine, then it's a different story. But I think at this point, Putin's playing a cute little game for starters where, he's using the North Korean troops, but he's using them in Russia. He's allowed to have them in Russia, right? Like it's a cute little game. More difficult to detect from Russia too. Yep, absolutely. Thank you, Running on Coffee, for the Comet glue. Thank you for that. All right. A little more here. South Korea says it could review the ban on supply of lethal arms to Ukraine, according to South Korea's president. Basically, under South Korean law, they cannot give weapons to an active war zone. But they are talking about reviewing that if North Korea ends up fighting for Ukraine in the war. Oh, we've got a troll, a chatty troll. Hi, Rumbler. Rumbler, our first Russian troll of the night, says, wow, it sounds like you love war. Yeah, Rumbler, you see, what I love is freedom. I love peace. I love saving babies from being kidnapped by Russians, which the Russians have been indicted. Putin was indicted by the International Criminal Court. There's an arrest warrant out for him for literally stealing Ukrainian babies. I love babies. I love freedom for babies. I hate genocide. I hate dictators like Russia. Not a big fan of countries that don't have toilets, which is Russia's other problem, but that's for another day. But yeah, so you better believe it. Absolutely. And most Americans love war when it is about freeing people, when it is about freedom, when it is about defending democracy, when it's about stopping dictators like Putin, like Xi, not to risk our overlords at TikTok, etc. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love how they say it too, because they say it in a way like you're supposed to feel guilty. Like, oh no, I would never want to use US troops to stop tyranny. Oh no. Happy to. I am glad that US troops are basically teaching Ukrainians how to go after Russians. I am glad that US weapons, along with European weapons, have now caused 600,000 casualties among Russian dictator troops, genocidal troops in Ukraine. Absolutely. It brightens my day. You light up my life. So yes, love it when it's about freedom and democracy and stopping dictators. Absolutely, positively. And the rest of us do too. And especially when there's 600,000 casualties on the Russian side. Yeah, you better believe it. You better believe it, girl. Thank you, Jen, for the gift. Thank you, Felice. Thank you, Christina. All right. Anyway, thank you, Jen. All right, so let's keep going here. See, our trolls, our numbers, you can always tell when the TikTok numbers start going up, the trolls start coming in. It's like we so far got like the Russians. That was a Russian type troll. But we may get some of the Trumpers soon. Usually the Trumper, although a lot of these, honestly, all of these are probably Russians, to be honest. I would bet you very few of these people are real. I love, there's a meme that goes around on Twitter. Thank you, Mikey. And it shows 4 Russian soldiers sitting at computer terminals. And the one writes, I'll never vote for Kamala Harris. And the other one writes, I used to always vote Democratic, but not this election. The third one writes, the lesser of two evils is still evil. And basically, it's all Russian troops, of course, pretending to be Americans. Of course, absolutely. But the other thing is, the Trump people, because they have no defense to what a horrible human being, what a horrible American he is, all they can do is go, you lie. You lie. Anyway, thank you for the eyes there, Jen. All right. Boris, exactly. Boris Two Shoes. All right. A little more here. What was this? I'm going to skip that story. I don't think it's as interesting. What have we got here? I don't care about these idiots too. The Slovakians are being traitors again. Big deal. Yeah, Helian, be careful though. I will tell you, the one thing to be careful though is sometimes the moderators can't tell who's a troll and who's not. Like, you're a subscriber too, so they probably remember you. But we've actually had people be banned before because they sort of repeated the joke and somebody thought they were a Russian troll. So be careful. Thank you, Jen, for the gift there. Thank you, Arab Khadia. John Rivets, Mikey, Jen. All right. And finally, Auchan, one of the few French, I think it's a supermarket chain, some kind of a store chain, still operating in Russia, is in final negotiations to sell its Russian subsidiary to a local buyer, French media reports. So that's very good. Thank you, Jan Thomas. So, all right. So we finished early today, which is good. We're going to keep going here. Open this up to questions. I'm going to mention the auctions again. I had continued a few of the auction items till tomorrow. I'm very glad to say we now have bids on a number of the items because some of the auctions ended yesterday, but a number of the items that I'd put up late didn't get bid. Now they're getting bid on. This is the final auction I'm doing of estate stuff for my mom. Maybe I'll take some of the macrame stuff or whatever home. We'll see. And otherwise, we're done. But I will only show you a few briefly. We found out this angel is Murano glass, which is cool because Murano from Italy, from Venice, is very nice glass. But somebody had mentioned they thought it was, I thought it was Swedish actually, and I Googled and found out it is Murano, which is kind of neat. The other thing is, I think we may finally have a bid on the German vase from Rosenthal. that appears to have Cossacks, I think. And again, I'm going to say, there it is, little Cossacks dancing. And I think it's Ukrainian and not Russian, but I'm not going to swear to you. But I think, to me, those look like Cossacks in front, dancing in front of the Ukrainian church. We also finally have bids on the it's an advertisement from the Ladies' Home Journal from April of 1926. And it's all about a new hosiery for women. And I love this kind of stuff because it's so sexist, but it's like almost kind of, it could be Whirling Dervishes too, except it's got the Orthodox church behind it, which makes me think Ukrainian or Russian. You know what I mean? So look, Blue Moon silk stockings. A new silk stocking has been made so beautiful, so durable that women are amazed to find that the price is only $1.65 to $2.15. That's insane. In 1926, women had to pay $1.65 to $2 for stockings that they knew were going to break on them. I mean, that's insane. Think about this. That's 100 years ago. Like, that would piss me off today, paying $2 because that was the other thing when I finally was like working in an office talking to women, and they were telling me that like hose that women wear, they wear like once or something, and it falls apart or it rips or whatever. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, as a guy, back me up on this, women. Is it still the case? Is it still the case that hosiery like rips, like you can wear it once or twice if you're lucky? Because I thought like it just lasted. When I heard that, I was like, insane. Like, even paying $7, you're buying socks that you can wear once or twice. Okay, the cheap ones. Okay, the good ones now last more. I've had a lot of women tell me they don't last much longer than that. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Jazak. It's cute. Yeah, I mean, just insane. Absolutely insane. Okay, a little bit more of this though. Not at any price, however high, can you buy silk stockings that are more lovely or more lasting. And the reason is this: the Blue Moon Company makes nothing but this one brand of full fashion silk hosiery. Let me say this. Every Blue Moon stocking is made of pure Japanese dipped dye silk, which is the longest wearing fabric known. Delightfully sheer yet substantial and firm. Anyway, I just love this. I think it's like, again, it's a little sexist and it's funny as hell. But anyway, so that ad is being bid on. And the final two things. We do finally have a bid on this. I'm so happy. This is the jewelry box, the Victorian jewelry box from Art Nouveau. That was my mom's, and we think it was my grandmother's because it reeks of 1900. I Googled as well, and there was a very similar box. I mean, the design was slightly different, same color, same everything. That was from 1900. So it's Victorian. We believe it's brass. It's really cool. I'm very glad because I love this thing. I want somebody to get it. So anyway, this is very cool. And the final thing is our wonderful Callum has bid on the teapot. So that's good as well. So I'm glad. Make sure it's in one piece. It is. Callum has built on our Royal Albert teapot. These are very expensive teapots. I was Googling online. They're like $150 teapots. Like I don't know how mom got this or why she got this. Like why mom would have expensive teapots, but mom did apparently. So go check it out. Those auctions end tomorrow on Discord. I extended those because nobody had bid on them. Most of them have bids. Murano still does not have bids. And that may be the only one that doesn't have bids. I'd have to look and see. I don't recall now. But check it out. Those bids end tomorrow. And then, anything that's not bid on, I guess we're going to give to charity or the neighbors. So go check it out. Thank you, Life. So yeah, let's do Q&A. We can even go over and maybe hang out on Discord for a bit tonight too, because we're early enough. So that's good. Anyway. All right, guys. So yeah, let's talk. Let's talk about the election. Let's talk about Ukraine. What do you want to talk about? Our trolls left us. Oh, well, you can always tell again, the number goes down. So the trolls are going, goodbye, trolls. Goodbye, trolls. I head back to DC next Saturday, meaning 9 days from now. Thank you, Christina. Oh, fine. So I'm reading people's comments about the hosiery. What do I think about North Korea and Ukraine? It's dangerous. The North Koreans are crazy, and the North Korean government is crazy. Putin is not crazy. I mean, people like to say, because Putin wants you to think he's crazy. He wants you to think, oh my God, he'll use nukes. This kind of crap, right? But he's not crazy. The North Korean government, batshit crazy. Brutal dictatorship, batshit crazy. They're dangerous. Elon's a little crazy too, yes, but different. So it's dangerous they're getting involved in the war. It's dangerous because you're talking about North Korea getting involved in a European war, which is not a good thing. But I'm not sure what to say. I'm not convinced it's World War III, but if we were to head to World War III, this would be a nice step in that direction. But it's like the first of 30 steps to World War III. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh my God, we're 2 steps away from World War III. No. But it's screwed up. It's screwed up. Chad Scott. No, what did Chad say? I like Chad. What did Chad say about the North Korean troops, Carol? We're definitely not hitting World War III yet. No. Is Kim Jong-un nuts? Yes. Like his whole family's batshit crazy. Absolutely, positively. Yeah. How much longer can Ukraine hold on to Russian territory, Jeff? Unclear. I mean, we had reports like a week ago that the Russians may have gotten half the territory back, which was bad. Thank you, Paras, for the Cat Plus. So, I don't know. Part of it's going to depend, too, is the U.S. going to poop out on Ukraine if Trump wins? Yeah. I mean, if Trump wins, he will. So we'll see. Yeah. It's not just, I'm not going to even get into that blue sky. What else, guys? What else? Callan with a teapot, short and stout. What else? Talk to me, guys. Otherwise, we'll just head over to Discord. Russia used chemical weapons of some kind. Yes. I'm trying to remember who went after them over the chemical weapons use. Maybe the UN chastised them for it. I'm trying to remember. This was a couple weeks ago that they were finally sort of called out officially for their chemical weapons use in Ukraine. Illegal. Yes. Any North Korean deaths? There may have been 2 weeks ago. There were reports that North Koreans who were advising the Russians got killed in an attack, a Ukrainian attack. I don't know that we know any more about that. But that was the report. Now that they're supposedly stationed in Kursk, which is that region that Ukraine took or part of the region the Russians are trying to get back, clearly there's a greater chance of North Korean deaths now, but let's see. Stephen King's Storm of the Century. I don't even know what that is, Teresa. Is it a TV show or a movie? Leah asks, any chance some countries will send soldiers to help Ukraine? France is kind of itching to. The Poles, I think, are probably itching to. The Baltic states might be itching to. Beyond that, but I think the rest of NATO is kind of holding them back. But let's see what happens. As I said, Putin so far looks like he's holding back because the initial report is that Putin is using the North Korean troops in Russia to get the Russian land back that Ukraine took, right? So it's not quite crossing enough of a line yet of the North Korean troops entering Ukraine. Then, again, I'm not convinced it'll happen, but then you could see the French go, fine, we're sending our advisors now, right? Or the Poles. I hope NATO does, frankly, but, Richard says they reported at least 4 officers' casualties. It was several. It was officers of the North Koreans, but supposedly they were like advising on weapons use or something, supposedly. Again, I don't know how much. I didn't sort of see anything about it afterwards. This was maybe 2 weeks ago, right? BRICS peacekeepers. Yeah. What else? I'm yawning again. I'm sorry. Well, yes, Brian, good point. Doesn't Korean troops in Russia open the door to Western troops in Ukraine? Yes, it does. But it requires balls for that. And far too many of the NATO countries, including our own, don't have the balls to do it. The French do. Again, the Poles do. The Baltic countries do. Beyond that, I don't know. Clearly, the Americans don't have the balls. The Brits might. The Germans don't have the balls. We know that. Slovakia and Hungary are just traitors. Like I said, they're Soviet wannabes. So actually, excuse me, they're Soviet stooge, they're Soviet satellite wannabes. They're not even Soviet wannabes. They don't want to be the guys running the show. They want to be the ones licking the Soviet heels. You know what I mean? But yeah, Biden won't do it. Biden's terrified of Putin's nuclear weapons. He's not going to do it. Again, Biden stood up to Russia. Biden helped, save Ukraine from getting overrun. International coalition, blah, blah, blah. Biden never wanted Ukraine to win, and he got his wish. He got a tie. That's now a war of attrition that Ukraine's almost slowly losing, but very slowly. But they're certainly not winning. At this point, they're kind of stuck. And that's all because that's where Biden wanted them to be, which was really a stupid move. Kamala Harris could be more of a hawk, Jeff. Yep, we don't know. Sounds like she might be. Let's hope to God she wins, obviously. Wouldn't North Korean troops want to defect, asks Bash. That's the hope. There's a couple things going on. One, nobody, we're seeing the Cylons after 40 years. No one quite knows what they look like. If you don't get that reference, sorry, it's a sci-fi reference, but we don't know how the North Korean troops fight, right? We don't know if they're any good. We're going to find out. So what I'm trying to think what you said that made me think about that. Oh, wanted to defect. Will the North Korean troops want to defect? Maybe, right? Are they going to be 10 feet tall and really scary, or are they going to be from a really poor dictatorship where their first chance to break away, not to mention especially if they get inside you, I will bet you part of the initial concern of North Korean troops not entering Ukraine but fighting in Russia is they might defect if they get inside Ukraine. If they get inside Ukraine, they can run and get to Europe or America at that point. Because I guarantee you, American intelligence, British intelligence, lots of intelligence agencies are going to be dying to get their hands on North Korean troops. The Americans would probably pay them $1 million each. To be like, oh yes, come to America and we're going to set you up and we're going to have lots of briefings about your military and how it works and everything else. So that is one of the big wild cards, is what will happen to the North Korean troops. Will a lot of them defect if they get inside Russia? Because inside Ukraine, you're right. You defect inside Russia and you're still in Russia. You're still in a dictatorship. But you defect inside Ukraine and Ukrainian military is going to be like, welcome, there were reports of like 18 North Korean troops. This was like several days ago. In the Kursk region, I believe, again, the Russian region where they're trying to get it back, leaving their posts. They were supposedly arrested subsequently. It's not clear if they defected. It's not clear if they were deserters. It's not clear what they were doing. There were reports of 18 of them. We don't know. Only because I say it happened once, the report, and then we saw maybe they were arrested by the Russians, but there wasn't enough on it to make me trust fully the story, That's true too. Atresh is saying they've got family hostages back home. Any of the North Koreans guys who have family back home are probably not going to defect because they were probably told, you defect and we're going to murder your entire family. I will bet you. Because again, North Korea, worst dictatorship on the planet, quite literally. So I would not be surprised about that. What else we got? Well, Drew says, I would have thought it would have been more advantageous for North Korea not to expose its military. North Korea is desperate. They're isolated. There are huge international sanctions on them from the United Nations because of their nuclear program. Also, they're the worst dictatorship on the planet, so just lots of sanctions in general on them. They are desperate for money, and they get the money with trade with the Russians. They're desperate for oil. They're getting the oil from the Russians. They sell arms to the Russians to get money. They receive oil from the Russians, which also helps them a lot. They're desperate to get help with their missile program because their big thing is their nuclear missiles. That's what makes them cool. Like the Iranians are trying, right? That's what makes them cool and dangerous. And it does make them dangerous, really. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah. So there are advantages to North Korea doing this. They're getting accepted, or they're getting what's they're looking for, kind of welcomed on the international stage somewhere and being able to prove their mettle and that they matter. Right? It's kind of like Putin. And actually, it's kind of like the Russians in a way. Kind of pathetic. Not a first world power, Russia. Right? kind of a developing country in some ways, going backwards. I'd say culturally, economically, militarily. But they've got nukes and they've got like a lot of men, or a lot of weapons, which makes them a problem, even if their weapons aren't so good and their military isn't so good and the country is kind of falling apart. And again, it's kind of a second world country. It's not a first world country. But I'm tired today. I can tell, like, as soon as I start answering questions, I've then got to look at the question again because I'm tired. Hang on, what was the question here? Question here. 1 second here. I'm trying to remember like what somebody just asked me about Russia that got me thinking of all of that. I don't remember now. Sorry. I'm forgetting my question, or what I would read one of you. I should have said it out loud. I don't know. Oh, I know what I was going to say. North Korea reminds me of Russia in a way where there's kind of a patheticness to the country that it's desperate to be loved on the world stage and to be respected and feared, right? It's Fredo from The Godfather. Why don't you pick me? And that's certainly Russia and Putin. Like, we have nukes for the 500th time. I'm scary. Why aren't you paying attention to me? Right. And the North Koreans, there's some of that too. We're so scary. We're going to nuke you. Every day they do that. It's just like nonstop. Right. They're wannabe first world countries, basically. They're not us. They want to be us. And the only way they can do it is being scary with their nukes, basically. Experience, too. Somebody mentioned that yesterday walking my dog, that this is obviously potentially good experience for the North Korean troops to get fighting experience. Oh, thank you for who was that? The KT, the cat massage. Yeah, I'm smart. Oh, that's it. I'm smart. I'm smart, too. Yeah. It's such an iconic scene for The Godfather. It's funny the stuff you remember. UK Foreign Secretary called Russia a mafia state. Woo! Well, if you saw the Russians decide to harass a British diplomat, the number 2 at the embassy, arriving in Moscow, and they sent a crowd to harass. They do this. They sent a crowd to harass him, pretending they're protesters, which, mind you, are illegal in Russia. So, like, there's suddenly a crowd of protesters at the airport manhandling the British diplomats because it's on purpose and it's the Russian, their KGB, right? Or whatever you want to call them today, right? FSB. They're not protesters. And one of them was like a reporter. Again, bullshit. There are no real reporters left. They're all spies. And they're in the face of the British diplomat. And I love this because the British diplomat takes the camera of the one guy and just grabs it and pushes it aside. He takes the badge of the other guy, his press pass, and just takes it. And the guy goes, "You took my press pass. That is illegal in this country. It may not be legal in your country. It's illegal in my country." The Russians have literally, over the years, they have beaten up American diplomats. They have killed the dogs of their pets of American diplomats in Moscow. They will come to the apartment and just rearrange the furniture. They will come to the apartment and leave shit on the ground in the middle of the apartment. They do all sorts of, again, it's pathetic second world kind of stuff. It's not the stuff a superpower does. It's not the stuff it's Donald Trump, right? It's Donald Trump style stuff. The kind of stuff you look and you go, no normal adult would do something like that. No normal adult country would do something like this. Oh, they literally killed the pets of American diplomats. They'd go to their apartments and murder their pets. So they come home and find them dead. Yeah. It is a horrific country in many ways, sadly. Thank you, Super Hornet. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Calman, for the pumpkin. A couple more minutes and then we can go over to Discord. Again, we haven't done that in a while, so it'll be nice we can go hang there without my camera. I can hang more comfortably. What else? Any election stuff? I don't know. I know. The wood paneling is gone. In 9 days, you get no more wood paneling ever again, probably. I doubt I'm going to move anywhere else with wood paneling. Yep. Yeah, never take a pet to Moscow. There'd be no way. No way. It'd be sad, but there'd be no way. What else, guys? No election stuff. I'm guessing people are feeling the same way I've been feeling, where it's still kind of like, right? Who knows how the election's going? I'll be coming back here for Christmas, probably. Again, it's like a little confusing because there's a couple things. One, I've just been here for 2.5 months. Like, I'm not coming back for Thanksgiving. 3 weeks later, I'm like, there's no way. Even 6 weeks later for Christmas, I'm like, oh, but I'd hate to miss Christmas, but I'd have to find somewhere to stay with my relatives. It's not fun anymore. You know what I mean? I've got to like find somewhere to stay. Do I bring my dog? I mean, I'm going to do it, but it's not fun. Yeah. So sadly, we're not gutting the house. No, we're painting the house. We're repairing a lot of things, making it nice and presentable. Not gutting. No, because the house may also be we don't know. Is it a tear down? Is it, we've already met some potential buyers who want to basically, invest $200,000 making the house, new again. Thank you, Luna. But the problem is you have like a catch-22 where are they going to follow through? Are they going to offer enough? Right. So do you just say, oh, come see our house that isn't ready yet, because maybe you'll pay for it anyway and we don't have to do anything? Or will you see our house and offer us $100,000 too less? And then we say no, and we have to make it presentable for other buyers. So we've been not spending a ton of money, but spending some money to make the house, much more presentable, which I think is a good idea anyway. The clocks go back this weekend. Ugh, I've not seen Bob Woodward's book. Is it finally out now? The new book? Yep. The Estates Challenges. Exactly. On the historic list? No, it's not a historic house. No. There's a historic item in the house. Mom had copied an article years ago on vitrolite, I think it's called. It's some kind of glass, ceramic tiles in the bathrooms that are apparently like historic designation thing. You could get the tax write-off and the whole thing for it, but we've got it in both bathrooms. And Mom was like, she gave me the article years ago. She was like, don't you lose this article. Whoever buys the house, you need to show them this. And I was like, okay. So I mean, the one couple was very into the home, the fact that the home is I say historic, it's not historic in that sense, but that our home is probably 1940, 1942. So it's one of the older homes, but is still in very good shape and kind of cool because now it's 80 years old. And I was going to make sure to like send that to them just to say, my mom made me promise whoever's looking at the house, at least whoever cares about history, knows that the bathrooms have got this historic tile, because I think they're going to like that. They wanted an old, let's see, other people too, but they especially were interested in the house because it's an old, sort of the old style homes in town. Thank you, Ethan. So we'll see. That paneling, I'm assuming it's not solid wood. I'm assuming it's paneling. It's wood. Well, it's solid wood paneling, I'm assuming, right? But I doubt it depends what you mean by solid wood, right? It's not a veneer, no, because it's probably 1940. I mean, it was here when we moved in 1971. So, can or can't be contributing anything at the 50-year mark. Well, it's actually the 80-year mark, not the 50-year mark. We've been here 50 years. The home is 80 years old. The home is not 80 years old. Wait, 60, 80. The home is 84 years old, probably. Yeah. Vinyl paneling. Yeah. I'm assuming these are like, only because like my brother in the basement broke one of them and I was like, what did you do? But they're I'm going to guess they're like panels of wood. It's wood paneling. They're like panels of wood. You know what I mean? So it's not a veneer. It's not like a plastic you put over. It's wood, not 68, Ash. I don't know what 68 is. Not for this house. Oh, you're saying that when your house was built. Okay. Yeah. Plywood. I don't know what you'd call it. We call it wood paneling. Right? It's not the fake plastic. Exactly. I don't know if that makes it much better, but it's not the fake plastic. Yeah. But I don't know what you call it. I don't know. I grew up with it, so I like it, but, and yeah, the old lights we've got, oh my God, the lights in the, we've got some, I think it's beautiful. Like the lights in the, I don't know that you can even see from here. Let me look. I don't know that you can see. Probably not. No, probably not. The light in the, like the light in the hallway. Actually, you guys can see, but it might not be clear enough. The TikTokers, the YouTubers. Actually, TikTok, I can show you guys. Here, the light in the. I just think it's really cool. Oops, there we go. Again, it might be a little hard to see because it might be overexposed, but it's kind of like, yeah, now you're getting a look. Yeah, you guys never got to see the house. Now you're getting to see the house. It is a very beautiful house. But that light up there, I just think is beautiful. And we've got a number of lights like that in the house that are these kind of neat old, it looks exactly, Fraser, it looks exactly like an old gas lamp. And it might have been an old gas lamp that was then electrified. I don't know. But it's really cool. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm not doing the tour yet. No, because we are showing the house to some people in 2 weeks. But I can't do an external shot yet, Gunnerman, only because I'm still being careful about where this is because, I'm over the years, at times I have been a quasi public figure. So I sort of have been careful about my family not being harassed and everything else. Although now mom's gone, so that's not a problem. Yeah, no swimming pool. No swimming pool, sadly. But yeah, the stairs are really neat. But I don't think I want to necessarily show the house because some of it's not really done. Like the kitchen's a bit of a mess. The room I'm in is a bit of a mess too. Actually. Well, it's a mess because we've still got like my table here is full of, I mean, I could even show you guys. My table is full of the auction stuff, my notes, the boxes we're getting ready in the house. It's still like a lot of, I'm showing them at least, it's still a lot of stuff that I don't want to, do too much of a tour yet. But we will. I'm sitting in the family room here. Yep. Tongue and Groove. Somebody else mentioned that, Paula. I didn't realize that was what it's called. The carpet. Yeah, I do like the carpet. I don't know when it's from, but it is. I think it's pretty. It's kind of, it feels like a law office or something to me. You know what I mean? Slot and groove. Slots in each panel. Yes, it does have the slots in each panel. You're right. So anyway, the carpet may come out. We weren't going to replace. We replaced some of the carpeting to make it look better, but we weren't going to replace too much because, again, let them pick what carpeting they want. We just wanted, this room still looks very nice. I mean, once it's emptied out, it still looks very nice, and the carpeting is very pretty. The wood paneling is old, but it's but we didn't want to spend too much money on carpeting and stuff because, again, they're going to change it. We just wanted it to look good enough that somebody could come and go, okay, there's a lot of hardwood floors. Yes. We actually, I mean, we were debating it with the carpeting going up, for example, because we were worried the hardwood floor was going to have so many nails and things in it that if we took off the carpeting, we couldn't just, leave the floors. In the end, we probably could have left the floors, which was too bad because the floors are really nice. But you can still, we've still got on the sides of the carpeting, the floor showing. We've got some nice photos of when all the carpeting was up so they can see the floor and stuff. So at least they'll be able to get a good sense of the stairs really are gorgeous underneath. Yeah. So they'll be able to, the potential buyers, the realtor is going to have photos and stuff he can show them so they can see what the floors really look like. Cause they're very nice. Yeah. Who knows, who knows? We shall see, lots of stress. All right. It's 6:00. You know what I want to do? I want to go to Discord. Let's go hang on Discord for a little bit. Come 6:30, I've got some neighbors who are interested in taking some of our stuff. We were throwing things out, and one of the neighbors came by and was like, I love that love seat. Because basically we've got like stuff from the 1960s and 70s, a lot of it, 80s too. And so this one neighbor in particular was like loving all the vintage stuff. And I was like, it's yours. I mean, we're throwing it out otherwise. So he's going to come by 6:30 or 7 and bring his girlfriend. I hear you. I'll take you out in a second. All right. So let me go. I may have to take Sasha out to pee 1 second because she's whining, but then let's go to Discord. And hi, Paul. Yeah. And the guy you're voting for is a traitor who hates the troops and try to violently overthrow the government and hates America and loves our enemies. So I think we win. And by the way, his son, Donald Jr., since you're talking about cokeheads, let's talk about his son, shall we? Who at the very least drinks, it seems, 50 cups of coffee a day is what he acts like. It's a little weird. All right, guys. let's go to Discord, all right? Hello, you. You can go to Discord on YouTube. Look at the description of the show. You'll find Discord on TikTok. Go to my profile. Hit the Discord link. Hit the Linktree link. Thank you, Danan. Hit the Linktree link. And what will come up is a list of links, including Discord. If you're on a computer, you can just click the Discord link and go there. If you're on a phone, don't do that. If you're on a phone, push and hold down the Discord link, and there will be a pop-up that says accept invite. Do it that way. So, yeah, and then look for us. We'll be in the left-hand side, upper left-hand side. You have to click, verify who you are if you're new. But the upper left-hand side, you'll see John's after party, and we'll be there. All right. All right. Have a good night, guys. I may take the dog to pee for a second, although we did go right before the show, so she might be okay. But otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Oh, we just completed the third stage of the team quest. Rotro. We've unlocked. You can celebrate. Okay, I'll stay for a second. So on TikTok, they can click whatever team quest thing. Do you have? I forget again. Is this some little emoji you can post? What was the? What's the team quest thing? All right, YouTube. I'm hanging up on you. I'm going to go over to Discord right now. Oops. Boom. Yeah. What's the team quest thing?